My name's Ed Wong. I'm a DJ at WRSU FM 88.7, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Been on the air for, longer than I can really remember. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention at the time, so the dates are a little fuzzy, and it was a long time ago. Got involved in the station as soon as I got to school here in the fall of '83. I was listening to WRSU when I was in high school, calling into the call-in show, winning prizes, that kind of thing. But mostly at the beginning, I was more interested in just getting access to the record library and hanging out with the DJs. Really wasn't trying to be a DJ myself because, I wasn't cool enough to be a DJ. So I would be here on a Saturday morning helping run the board while the football games were being brought on the air. Games that back in those days would kick off at around 10:45 on a Saturday morning. So one of the things that happened was the chief announcer was like, hey, if you got a DJ permit, I don't mean an FCC permit, I meant like a WRSU permit, then you could play music in case the game was rain delayed or things like that. Where were we? RSU. So I got involved with, I went ahead and got certified as a DJ. And as I mentioned earlier, the game started at 10:45 in the morning in those days. And a lot of DJs didn't really want to party Friday night and get up at Saturday morning and come in and do a 45-minute radio show. So they asked me to fill in for one weekend and then 2 weekends and then the rest of the semester kind of thing. So that's how I first got on the air on Saturday mornings. It was because nobody wanted to do what was back in those days a 45-minute radio show. But that was only true in the fall. In the spring, football wasn't around. And of course, in the summer, there wasn't sports around because the students were in town. So that's how I got started on WRSU on Saturday mornings. And so it's become a slot since then. So a lot of people are like, what do you contribute to being a radio DJ? And I'm like, football, which is not what most people are expecting as an answer. So over the years, Rutgers WRSU is kind of interesting because the actual license is held by the Rutgers University Board of Governors. It's not an independent radio station. And for a number of years, WRSU was student-run, and then people started looking at it and said, it can't really be student-run. It's got to have a Board of Governors oversight, so it means it needs a Rutgers employee. And at one point, they went about hiring what was called the broadcast administrator, which was a Rutgers employee who also teaches some broadcast news classes as a professor was the right word, but was also responsible to the Board of Governors and ran the radio station. So if I remember correctly, Tim Espar, was he the first one? And then was it Jerry Donnelly and then Tim Espar? It's been a while. But recently, Mike Pavlichko, in the last 4 or 5 years, was the latest Rutgers University broadcast administrator for WRSU. And I'm not sure I got all the technical details correct here. But one of his sort of things he wanted to do was to really do a better job of trying to celebrate the history of WRSU. WRSU has been around for quite some time. And in the 70s, 73, if I remember the year correctly, WRSU became an FM broadcast station. But for a number of years prior to that, we used to do what was called AM carrier current, amplitude modification, AM radio. So they would do AM radio broadcasts, and it's kind of like low-powered FM today. It didn't have very much range, a couple hundred feet beyond any of the dorms they were in. So it was a different kind of aspect to what they were doing. But in the 70s, they got an FM radio license, and they started broadcasting out of the studios in the Student Center on the FM 88.7 FM. So Mike Pavlichko wanted to do what he was calling the WRSU Hall of Fame and started that up. And there was recently an inaugural induction of the WRSU Hall of Fame, celebrating, remembering some of the key people in the history of WRSU. A lot of different people, some people who are no longer with us, many people who are involved in both the AM radio station and the initial launch of the FM radio station, as well as Matt Pinfield, who's probably one of the most famous DJs of WRSU, who's later gone on to broadcast radio / video career, and Herb Sudson, who's also been a fixture on WRSU for decades doing the country music show.
Let's do that.
So, I've had a number of different names and DJ monikers over the years. It used to be the Wimp, and then it was the Lonely Guy, and then it became El Hombre Solo because it was the Lonely Guy in Spanish. I have no idea how I came up with that one, and apparently it's incorrect Spanish. So, right now I just go by that or DJ Ed Wong, which is kind of mundane. I'm on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. till sports comes on and kicks me off, or 2 o'clock. And lately it's the summertime, so I'm on from 10 a.m. till 2. Technology-wise, it's been fascinating over the years. These days, I'm actually streaming video on Mixcloud. You get about half a dozen to a dozen viewers on the live video feed, which I'm sort of always fascinated at. But that's what people view it as, and that's great. It's also hard to see because the stream is also streamed on WRSU.org. So a lot of people get that. And of course, there's broadcast itself on 88.7 FM. So a lot of people listen to that, and I'm getting wet.
You had Pinfield on too, right?
I did have Pinfield on. That was a special thing. Pinfield was supposed to come in and get an award later that evening. And it was interesting because the idea was broached initially to have Matt come on my show, and they were kind of tentative, asking, could Matt come on? And I was like, dude, we should just have Matt come on, do my entire show with me. It'll be great. We could sit there and talk about New Brunswick and music, and it'll be fine. And Matt was very, very appreciative of all that. He was like, I don't want to take over your show. And I'm like, not taking over the show. It's great to be working with Matt again. I work with Matt when he does the Melody Reunion / Melody Reflux, and I'm getting wet.
Okay.